busy. Indiana County really has a lot of irons in the proverbial fire here lately, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, good morning, Tog. It's always welcome to be here. The county commissioners keep me hopping and the office hopping, and it's a good time right now. We're coming off some real struggles, and but it's nice to see some help wanted signs out there and companies hiring, and but we're not out of it yet. So we've got a lot of good projects to talk about to hopefully turn the tide on the economy and create some more opportunities for our residents of Indiana County.
Well, we just had the ladies in talking about the Indiana County Speaks Up survey and people wondering about the availability of jobs. Those, jobs are one of the great economic indicators, but they're not the only economic indicator for the financial health of a community. And Indiana County has some really positive signs out there right now. I know you're working on a number of projects, and I know the number one thing that people are asking about is what's going on at Windy Ridge? Are we close? And those things don't come together overnight, and this particular issue is one that demonstrates that.
No, we're a little bit over a year now, in first meeting with this distribution center company, started getting a little real this spring in terms of some of the opportunities. So we're through the Indiana County Development Corporation negotiating an agreement with the company, and we're very encouraged by the signs. So there is ongoing negotiations. It's a large project, so it's a lot of money, and so we're it's capital intensive, a lot of things to do, and so we're making good strides and feel very optimistic about it.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out just how broad the scope is for the Indiana County Office of Planning and Development. You do reach out in so many different ways, and the way that you reach into the community for projects such as we're going to be talking next hour about the pedestrian bridge over Route 22. And whether that is going to be something that is actually going to happen here in Indiana County. You have a hand in that. You have a hand in, we were talking with Jim Struzzi a while back about the cracker plant in Beaver County and trying to find economic opportunities here in Indiana County that might feed off of that. I know you've made at least one trip, probably more, looking at other communities that might be able to provide some help and understanding in that issue as well.
Yeah, we live not only in a world economy, certainly in a regional economy. So people cross borders to come here to work in Indiana, and people cross the borders to go into other counties around the region. But yeah, Jim and I went to Louisiana last year and saw the good work that's going on down there related to the natural gas industry and the derivatives from natural gas, the chemistry of it, and what manufacturing opportunities can arise. Having that feedstock here in the community. Our corporate campus has opportunities for rail. So we're having ongoing dialogue with PennDOT and about rail extensions and those kinds of things to make sure that as that cracker plant comes online and other plastic manufacturers want to come to the region, that we have an opportunity to compete for some of that capital investment. I know Jeff's coming over here with some folks on the 22 bridge. We're also working with the university, White Township, the county, and the borough on the extension of the Hoodlebug from Hosses through the university up until Indiana Borough. So we're dealing with some recreation projects. And you mentioned the bridge. So I think there's a public meeting tomorrow evening that Jeff will be talking about. We're going around the county talking to all the municipalities, and we'll be having a number of public meetings through the Indiana County Planning Commission for the development of a subdivision and land development ordinance. With all the some of the flooding issues that we've had, looking at ways to make sure that we do smart development and don't impede development, but just make sure we do it the right way. So we're looking at some technical ordinances to try to help curb some of those kind of conflicts with development and stormwater issues.
Some of the items that we see coming into the news cycle and then fading away as work continues behind the scenes that we're not quite aware of, and the groundwork is being laid for those. Things like the redesign of the at the end of town here at Philadelphia Street of the intersection there at East Pike, and the new concept for the way that would be designed and traffic flow. Those things, they come up, we see them, we think that would be cool, or we think that would be terrible.
Right.
But then becomes the hard part, the work of actually putting things together and making them viable for Indiana County.
Right. Well, there are good things going on. Certainly, we just came off of the TIP development. The TIP is the Transportation Improvement Program. So that was Indiana County. That's where PennDOT gets its funding. The planning office with the county, works cooperatively with PennDOT and the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, as well as our other partners, particularly in the 10th PennDOT district with Butler and Armstrong counties. So we jointly plan what's going to happen transportation-wise. So we're coming off of that. So we'll have funding for the next 2 years outlined there, a number of bridge projects, and people see the work going on 119 on both sides of Indiana, in Homer City and just north of town near Mussers. So, a lot of good things that PennDOT's doing, a lot of bridge projects, but we still have a lot of need at the municipal level. A lot of, the county's put as much money as it can back on the street through the county aid program, working with our local municipalities. But a lot of bridge projects, a lot of local roads that are major transportation routes for people to get, to the main arteries that PennDOT takes care of, and just not a lot of money to go around. So we're working with our municipal partners, but a lot of good things. The Sunoco gas pipeline still coming through. That company that's down in the Coral area at the 119 Business Park, probably be here for another 10, 11 months working on that project. Later today, I'm meeting down at Norma, Pennsylvania, the Breeze Industrial Products Company. The Development Corporation owns that, and we're talking about some expansion opportunities there for more jobs, more expansion. Some projects in the White Township area, working very closely with the Indiana County Conservation District on a new building. My office is administering the grants for that project. Very pleased yesterday on the Alice Paul House announcement.
Yeah.
My office submitted that grant. Very appreciative of the governor's announcement and really for Representative Dave Reed and Senator White for their efforts to advocate for those funds for that pretty amazingly important project for our community to get that issue resolved.
I think if you just take a look at the news release from that and you see the number of people that were involved in just the thank yous,
Yes.
then you realize how much it takes of an effort it is for people to bring a project together such as that, or really anything. And your office has to be involved in all of that.
Yeah, we're I have a great team of people that we can sit down and figure out what the problems are and try to address them through various funding opportunities that are out there, and try to bring those funds here. We simply can't do all these projects on simply the backs of Indiana County taxpayers or even the business community and donations in the private sector. So there are programs out there that either state government or the federal government has to try to help communities pick themselves up and try to carry forward and do good work. So these are some examples of those projects.
We're talking with Byron Stauffer from Indiana County's Office of Planning and Development. I want to ask you about a project that actually was from several years ago. Some Indiana County funds were committed to Armstrong County on 422 for their expansion there, and done with a specific intent to open up that roadway to more traffic coming through and therefore more opportunities here in Indiana County. I don't think you get that kind of cooperation with every county in the state from county to county, but certainly in this case, it was identified as something that could really help Indiana County, even though the funds were being spent elsewhere.
Yeah, that was a strategic initiative, and again, those partnerships don't happen overnight. Fortunately, our county commissioners, see the regional vision, and that's gone from board to board to board, and by and large, that's through the collective works of the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, which is the metropolitan planning organization that kind of directs federal transportation dollars into the districts. And they're responsible to help PennDOT and the county planning agencies, do do the prioritization of those projects. So we really had a high incidence of fatalities and accidents in the Ray Plan Road area. So yeah, there was some federal funds that we actually secured back in the Congressman Murtha days, the Senator Specter days, maybe even as far back as Senator Santorum. Certainly Congressman Schuster was a big help. But we were able to direct some federal funds that we had back when there were earmarks on specific projects. And because of the magnitude of that project, we felt that was a good, wise investment. We view Indiana County now with the Kowalczyk Center, the Kowalczyk Complex being here, the university, IRMC, now with Windy Ridge being right off of 422, that, now that 119 and Route 22 projects have been completed, the 422s are our number one major priority to try to address on a regional basis. So given the impacts in Armstrong County and the severity of that area, and when you have a two-lane road that actually gets pretty high travel rates in terms of speed, and you combine that with the coal truck traffic on a two-lane road by and large, that's not a good recipe. And there was about $6 million of federal funds that was earmarked for 422. Indiana County secured those funds, and we've made the investment over in Armstrong. And Armstrong commissioners and PennDOT, and through our group planning, are continuing to advance that different segments along that 19-mile corridor.
He's Byron Stauffer, Indiana County's Office of Planning and Development. If you visit your website, the Office of Planning and Development website, you see just how wide the scope is and how very many different projects there are. And it really is an amazing thing. As Indiana County moves forward here in the next 5 or 10 years, and you continue to pursue projects and initiatives, your vision, is it a hopeful vision for Indiana County? Is it something that we talked about quality of life with the ladies from the Human Services Department. Indiana County seems to really be stepping up.
I'm very optimistic. Economic development folks tend to be more optimistic. We can see something, hopefully, that maybe others can't, so we're very encouraged. And you kind of teed me up. One of the things that the county's doing in collaboration with our partners at the Center for Economic Operations, which are the county commissioners, the Chamber of Commerce, the Indiana County Development Corporation, the Tourist Bureau, and IUP. We're jointly developing, in collaboration with the County Planning Commission, an economic development and workforce development plan. And so we've secured funding for that, and we'll be going out to secure a consultant to try to help us, guide us through that long-range vision, and how we can help transform and grow. I mean, we have a great base of local employers, family-based companies, but ultimately, it's no secret that we've lost the manufacturing base, and we're not unique to any of these small rural communities. So we need to kind of repurpose and build on what we have. And part of that was the vision to build the business parks that we've been building, to give us a competitive edge that we're ready to go when that company calls. And hopefully when that distribution center project gets announced, that will be because we were ready to go. It wasn't like we will build you something, 3 to 5 years from now. It's there. They can see it. They see the water tank. They see the roads, they see the infrastructure. So we're trying to position ourselves to be competitive, and we have a great workforce, great quality of life. We have infrastructure, we have great leadership. So I think we can be very competitive. And one of the things that we're doing to try to help in that reign is we've identified the broadband issues, and particularly in our rural areas. So we'll be working very hard here. Hopefully there'll be some announcements in the coming weeks and months on some new infrastructure opportunities for rural Indiana County, and be able to have quality broadband in their homes and businesses.
He's Byron Stauffer, Indiana County's Office of Planning and Development. We're a little bit past time here. Byron, thanks so much.
That's a pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160, Homer City, and we are on to Fox News in Progress.